Hey there, guys. Frankomatic here, and this is Heads Will Roll Reforged, a game that is simple, complicated, full of words, lots of content, extremely difficult, and I think it's pretty cool. So let's get into a new game here. Our first character here is going to be Lester. So we've got difficulties. Story mode is, if you want to see the story, here it is. The game has many branching paths, many endings, of which I've seen like maybe 5 or 6. Profile does not level up. Normal. A little less difficult, but a little more difficult than story. Profile does not level up. Hard is, you know, what it says. Profile does not level up. If you want to level up your profile, you gotta play on Heads Will Roll. Death is permanent. Enemies do not get any bonuses against you, nor you against them. No increased gold, no bonus time. You need to know the recipes to craft. The game saves automatically, and you do level up your profile. My profile is shockingly high level from my playthroughs, as you can see here. We have what seems to be ludicrous amount of generation points. However, I want to show you guys the experience you will get if you play it new, which you will get from the Create Random button. You can only have one Head Will Roll difficulty character at a time. So, let's roll our random stats, and you can do this as much as you want. You can get some stats, you get some talents, you get some items. You can click on the items to see what they are. We got a garbage-ass sword, a garbage-ass shield, a quiver and a crossbow. Actually, a pretty good crossbow, all things considered. And some leather bracers. That's not terrible. These stats, as you may expect, are absolutely awful. 1 melee skill. We can sell items for more, and what's this? 2 points of vitality if you use 3 or more different camp rest options. Interesting. For a quick overview of the stats. Strength. Inventory size goes up. Damage done by strength-based attacks goes up. Changes to use shield bash up. Damage done to armor, and you inflict more injuries. Agility is your dodge chance. Endurance is your available stamina, which is important. Your dodge chance, again. Your fatigue recovery, which is possibly the single most important thing, aside from hit points. And you have a chance to recover your fatigue better. Coordination, stamina recovery, throw accuracy, resistance to stun. Vitality, HP and injury resistance. Craftsmanship is for crafting, that's it. I don't like this. Let's try again. This is kind of all in on offense and defense. I kind of like this. And that's a good starting melee weapon skill. What do we got? We got a rusty falchion. Which is okay. We got a scabbard. This would be good if we get a second weapon. Got the crossbow again. And we have a throwing knife. Interesting. I'm going to take this. So, I'm going to warn you, this first run here with Lester, the Unlikely, he might not survive the prologue. This game is brutal. But, let's go. A breakout of yet another war between England and France was barely a surprise to anyone. The rivalry between the two kingdoms has lasted for more than a century. And small but regular armed conflicts have become commonplace for them. This war seemed too many to be an ordinary event, but the English king had other plans. When we come through again, I will, in fact, use this hold control to skip to speed through anything we've already seen. Don't worry. This time he had no interest in lesser goals and aimed as high as to ascend to the throne of France itself. using its ongoing dynasty crisis as a casus belli. War preparations started by Edward III have surpassed any of his past military campaigns. Understanding the scope of his ambitions, the King of England did not delude himself. The war that he was about to embark on was going to be the greatest in history, and for an undertaking like that, a proper army was in order. The king began gathering forces long before declaring war. Long negotiations and uncounted street agreements bolstered the royal army with numerous allies, as well as mercenaries from all over Europe. The core of his forces, as it always has been, was constituted of the best of England's chivalry, eagerly awaiting their chance to finally outshine the French chevaliers and claim the laurels of the best in the world. For the honorable knights, this coming war was an opportunity to amass wealth off its spoils and bask in the glory of victorious battle. You too ended up among the ranks of the king's countless soldiers, but unlike the knights and mercenaries eagerly enlisting out of their own will, you, a peasant's son, did not have much of a choice. As beside professional warriors, the army also required those to do its dirty work, both in the meaning of digging ditches and being able to give up their lives for dirt cheap. By royal decree, a militia force was drafted from the free folk. Many wealthier people were able to bribe their way out of service, but you, coming from a poor family, had no such opportunity, and thus you received a royal gift for your 18th birthday, an unexpected journey to the shores of France. Weapon in hand, you suddenly find yourself treading on unfriendly soil. You wonder whether you'll ever see your home again. A journey begins. Welcome to Heads Will Roll Reforged. Soon you will embark on your first adventure, but before you do it, we will have to warn you not all risks are worth taking and not all fights are worth fighting. Blindly charging forward without considering the circumstances and consequences is the fastest way to get yourself killed. They aren't kidding. They are not kidding. You really want to think about what you're doing, especially with the character that we've made. Heads Will Roll will try to present the player with a lot of difficult choices, but your answers will never be right or wrong. There is always something to lose and something to gain, no matter the choice. A good strategy for success is to approach the adventures with the intent to simply survive, rather than to become a hero. Don't go on dangerous endeavors if you're not confident in your success, as you may be severely punished for unpreparedness. Again, it's not kidding. Some quests will fail, some characters you meet will grow to hate or despise you, and sometimes you will have to flee from a battle in order to save your life. Don't let these things bother you too much, as your real goal is to make it to the end in one piece. Last but not least, remember to keep track of time. Training, shopping, adventuring, and completing quests will all consume it. Neglect one too much in favor of the others, and you're in for unpleasant surprises. We've received 55 florins, and a bonus of no florins. And here is part 1 of the game, the raising sim part of things. First things first, we started with stuff, none of it's equipped. So let's put this stuff on. Oh, we cannot even carry our throwing knife because we do not have a pouch or bag. We have no armor, we have a rusty sword, we have a crossbow with no bolt. In short, we are not at all well prepared. Let's go talk to the doctor. Wandering around the camp in search of a medic, you unexpectedly stumble upon a young girl who is in charge of one of the medical tents. Her clothes, appearance, and demeanor immediately give away the fact that she is a foreigner. As she glances over at you, her eyes dim. She obviously loses any interest in you completely. I'm looking for a doctor. The thing is, I'm looking for a doctor. You found one. My name is Cecilia Grimaldi, and I am a doctor in service of the King of England. And you seem to be from the militia, right? So, we could try to introduce ourselves as a knight, but our 0 prestige will not make that lie at all believable, so let's not lie. I am one of the militiamen from Earl Northampton's squad. My name is... You can read a complete loss of interest in you, as well as a slight disgust in her facial expression the moment she hears the word militiaman, lowered by 1. It's clear that you should have started your introduction to this girl with some other interesting fact about self. Let's get straight to the point. What do you need? How'd you end up in the war? Forgive my curiosity, but how did a girl like you end up in the war? I'm not sure this is your business. Healing services? If you need the services of the doctor, then one of the doctors will definitely help you. It's unlikely to be me, though. I'm here to monitor the health of more important people. Most minor injuries can be healed free of charge, but if more serious medical attention is needed, then I'm afraid there will be a price. By the way, free advice. Try to treat wounds and injuries as soon as possible. You can get rid of most ailments if you deal with them in a timely manner. However, if time is lost, the consequences of a particular wound can easily become chronic, and there will be nothing to be done about it. That is good advice, once again. If you get injured, deal with it as fast as you can. It's bad. So, something we can do here, in camp you can spend time to relax, relieve your stress, and hang out with other soldiers. All of them help relieve stress in their own way, and by different amounts. It will be wise to try all of them and see the results for yourself. In addition to that, the camp also serves as an important social hub where you can gather information and receive tasks from other characters. So we can talk to the blacksmith. Who are you and what do you need? I'm looking for a blacksmith. Well, you found him and he has his hands full. Now spit it out or get lost and don't distract me from work. I want to repair my equipment. Repair your equipment? I think you have it all mixed up, boy. Do I look like your personal blacksmith? Damn knights have already buried us up to our throats in broken junk, and we're all sweating our arses off, and here you come asking. I'm not asking you to help me for free, I'm willing to pay. Ha, what a smartass. I'd gladly pay for a job well done from my own pocket. Shame there's no one around who can actually do that. Let's make a deal. Do 3 shifts at the forge to help me out, and I'll take a look at your junk. I'll pay you for every shift, too. If your hands aren't actually growing out of your ass, you might earn some decent coin. Working at the forge is a camp activity that acts as a temporary part-time job. Unlike other activities, this one increases your fatigue instead of lowering it. However, forge duty increases your craftsmanship and earns you some money, the amount depending on your craftsmanship. So now we can work at the forge for a little bit of extra cash. A 1, a 2, a 3. Nice job, thanks for the help. See, job's done and money's good. Piece of cake. Come visit me again if you got nothing to do. There's always work to be done. I'll consider it. What about repairing my equipment? Yeah, I almost forgot. Give it here, your junk, but money first. These are horrible times we live in. Ain't a soul around you can trust, especially when it comes to scrawny ragamuffins like you. Not a scrawny ragamuffin. That so? Well, Hogger's not a ragamuffin either, yet he still refused to pay. About 2 weeks back, that drunkard parody of a knight commissioned me to get him a chest for spoils and trophies. Since then, he's been constantly pushing me to get done faster. Even tried giving me advice. And guess what? I finally got the damn thing done, and the fellow refuses to pay. How much is it? We settled on 60 florins, but given the circumstances, I would part with it for even half that amount. The chest is important. You want the chest. I'm gonna buy the chest. Now we can put stuff in the chest and we don't have to carry everything we have. Also, we need to relax. Let's go gambling. You can win or lose money this way. And it's lowering our fatigue. We lost a bunch of money. So now we can train. We can train our stats. We want to get some coordination and endurance. Gamble away our money. Alright, I spent a bit of time in the camp. You gradually get to know and make friends with various people, including several other young men drafted for the militia. All of you have quite a lot in common, including the fact that, originating from poor families, you are forced to go to war without anything remotely resembling decent weapons or armor. One of the guys going by the name Bartholomew, and having a rather shady past, suggests you fix this situation and presents you with a plan. His idea is to borrow the necessary equipment from someone who is not in such a dire need as you. The guards of Castle Dunkirk that is towering above your camp. According to Bartholomew, the men guarding the castle are guards in name only. They've been drafted from the surrounding countryside just as the war started, and they can barely tell which side of the halberd goes towards the enemy. Security is as bad as it gets, so sneaking into one of the rear armories in the far tower should be a piece of cake. Everything else will be figured out on site. Bartholomew claims he will take care of any locks that can be found there, so you just have to grab and carry away as much armor or weapons as you please. Several soldiers are rather impressed and willing to try. They already plan to pull it off this night. So, we are in dire need of equipment. Our equipment sucks. We are going to attempt this. You and several other soldiers are willing to take part. Bartholomew insists you don't dilly-dally and go at midnight. You're reading me at the Watchtower at midnight. This lowers our virtue, but who gives a shit? The soldiers like us a little more. Mr. received your first quest. All active quests and their descriptions are listed in the Quests and Travel section. Castle Heist. This is a description of what I just read. If we go to Travel, we can see the Watchtower. We can also try to scavenge, but there is a high chance we will die to wolves. Let's go to the Watchtower. As agreed, you depart from the camp and arrive at the farthest watchtower at midnight. Bartholomew and a couple of other soldiers are already waiting for you there. Bartholomew, clearly skilled in the local geography, confidently leads you along a hidden path through a ravine and a dense thicket of bushes. After about a quarter of an hour this way, you finally let yourself into the tower through a secret entrance. Inside, Bartholomew once again instructs you, forbidding you to make any sound and requiring you to move completely silently. Trying to find the weapons room in the endless maze of passages, doors, and stairs that represent the interior of the tower, you find yourself on the creaking plank floor of one of the galleries. One by one, your comrades manage to carefully walk on out without making any unnecessary sounds. It's your turn now. We fucked it up. We fucked it up. The piercing creak of the doors immediately attracts the attention of several guards who enjoy more peacefully snoring in one of the adjacent rooms. And at the risk of being cut off from your escape route, the four of you run away without saying a word. Get lost. In the morning, far from those pleasant news awaits you. The whole camp is abuzz with rumors this night by a group of spies attacked the castle. No one knows what they were trying to pull off. However, thanks to Vigilance of the Guard, their day plans were thwarted. Two bastards were hacked to death on the spot while resisting arrest, and another was captured alive. Grand Mercy is sitting in the castle dungeon and will soon be executed. If lucky, everyone will be able to see it before the dispatch. After such news, you can only shrug your shoulders. So yeah, that went badly. That could have got us some stuff. So Bart's in jail. We can try and help him. In theory. But we don't know where he is. Your squad is led by an old sergeant, a battered soldier who has fought under the Earl during the King's ill-fated Scottish campaign. Despite his grumbling and always dissatisfied look, the sergeant treats the soldiers very well and tries to make sure everything is in order. You find him doing the usual. Cleaning weapons. Noticing you, he looks up inquiringly. Get some good background information about the war and the camp and how to get equipment. We don't need to know any of that. I'm not sure the fellow deserves such a fate, but you can hardly help him with anything. He's now awaiting execution and will be lucky if he simply gets his head chopped off, not quartered or stretched out on a rack. Heard he's put in the dungeon of the Eastern Tower, the most impregnable in the castle. There's clearly no way out of there, even with his dexterity. However, they say the valiant guards have already beat him to a pulp on the first day. Won't be surprised if Poet's kicked the bucket already, haha. Oh, this is quite no laughing matter, God rest his soul. So we could try and save him, but, I can guarantee you we will fail. Let's get another couple of points of vitality. And do we take the chance? Let's take the chance. Despite your decisive attitude, you desire to free your comrade at all costs, you still do not fully understand how exactly you're going to pull this off. Look at the outlines of the Eastern Tower, blackening in the distance. You think of various options in your mind. You try to sneak into the tower. Such a mission is virtually impossible. Those odds to be high, but very high. You'll say you may pay for any, even the slightest mistake with your own life. The second is enter the tower under the guise of one of the garrison soldiers. If you can guess the time and act under the cover of night, there'll definitely be a chance to slip in. However, in order for such a scheme to work, you need at least some equipment, so that in the dark you can pass off as a full-fledged soldier. Without a helmet and armor, even the most bad ones, such a scheme will never work. Or you can try to bribe one of the guards. We're going to do none of those at the moment, because we don't have anything. How much money do we got? We have 11 money. That ain't gonna buy us shit. We can't even afford a coin pouch. And our dagger isn't really worth anything, so, sorry, Bart, you're screwed, buddy. Now we don't have much time until the next story event, and we don't want to go into the next fight tired. What we're gonna do is, waste some time hanging around. When the time runs out, you get a battle. After spending about a week at Castle Dunkirk, the army eventually begins its march to the southwest. Your regiment has been assigned to the advanced guard led by the king's son, Edward of Woodstock, the prince. With about half a day's march separating him from the main force, Edward's main goal is to scout ahead and make sure there are no major French reinforcements in sight. Arriving at Cambrai, you see a large French convoy with supplies as entering through the main gates. The town has obviously not been prepared to handle a long siege yet and stands vulnerable. The young prince, eager to prove himself to his father, chooses a daring move to try and take the city by charging through the yet open gates. Time is of the essence, so Edward leads the attack immediately. Concealed by the forest surrounding Cambrai, the English manage to get close enough to catch the defenders by surprise. The prince spearheads the cavalry charge forward, crushing everything under them and breaking into the city. You and your fellow militiamen try to follow in their tracks as best you can, but the difference in speed is just too great. By the time you have finally got to the gates, there is already a large group of enemy soldiers, guards, and militiamen gathering to block your way. Welcome to the war! Very soon, you'll have to shed your first blood, but before you do this, it will be wise to get acquainted with the main principles of the heads will roll battle system. Do you want a tutorial? No. Alright, so here's how this works. We have our HP. This hits 0, we die. We have our stamina. The higher this is, the better we will defend and attack. Just about anything you do lowers this. More importantly, fatigue. Everything you do will give you some amount of fatigue. This has 5 states, I want to say, and you always want yours to be in a better shape than the enemy's. If you have a fatigue advantage on your enemy, they will have a much harder time dealing with you. So, we have nothing to speak of. We have a sword, no armor. We are not in a good way. Here's our opponent. He also kinda sucks, but he has more weapon skill than us. He's wielding a hunting sword. So we can try to attack him. Our options are to slash, just a regular attack at the cost of 11 stamina. A lunge, which increases our chance to hit enemies with longer weapons, so it's not really valid here. And the big swing. If you pick an attack, you can choose where to aim it at. The limbs. Hitting the limbs does extra fatigue damage, but less regular damage. Body is just a regular hit. The head does extra damage, the neck does even more damage. The white dice number is our hit chance. The green dice number is chance to bypass armor. He has no armor like us, so any attack that lands will hit him for actual damage. We can also try to feint. A basic feint, which drains some of their stamina and blinds them for a turn if it works. The skill feint is the same, but does more based on your weapon skill. If we add a crossbow bolt, we could try to, and a crossbow, we could try to shoot him. This is how you lower your fatigue. You get it by landing hits. Recover allows us to recover our stamina. And here are the stances. Offensive, defensive, and balance. The offensive stance gives us a higher chance to hit, but lowers lowers our evade and block chance. Block chance is irrelevant, we don't have a shield. Defensive is the opposite. Balanced has no offensive or defensive bonus, but is most protected against feints. For the most part, you want to be in a defensive stance. And we want to try painting this guy. Oh, it worked. And he tried to feint us, and it didn't work. So now we have a pretty good chance to hit him, so let's give him a whack. We hit him for 5 damage. Any hit in this has a chance of causing a wound. If you get wounded, you are not going to be happy, because wounds will severely mess you up in this. The one major advantage you have over your opponents, they will never deal with their fatigue. I don't know if they even have the option to, try and, respite out. Hit this guy in the body again. And bleeding is extra damage per turn. He got us right in the neck, and wow, that hurt. Okay. But yeah, the secret to survival in this game is to fight extremely defensively. Let's hit him with a big swing. Alright, our opponent is pretty close to done. Got us another hit. Okay, at this point we just gotta kill him. That has unfortunately replaced him with a new guy who is in much better shape. Oh yeah, we may not survive this fight. Yeah, your first couple of characters, if you pick this game up, which incidentally is on pretty big sale right now, and I would recommend, are gonna probably die very quickly. Right now, I am just desperately trying to make it through this fight. Oh, this guy has a helmet. Got us with a feint. That ain't great. Enemy formation is fun crumbling. The battle may be soon coming to an end. We just have to survive a few more turns, hopefully. He got us. We're dead. Total score 11. Yeah, it's bad when you start with them random rolls. There's an achievement for starting from that kind of a start and getting all the way to any of the endings. I do not have it. That was a quick little overview of what this game has to offer. I think I will call this video here, because we're at about 30 minutes anyway. The points would get added to your thing. I just leveled up again, which got us a couple more generation points. Next time, we will build a character, so we can see what this game really has in store for you when you have played for a bit, such as I have. But for now, have a good one, guys, and see you next time. Later.